Good morning. Good morning. Buenos dias. Feliz Año Nuevo. Happy New Year. How are you guys doing? Who's here? I'm washing my other apron. Okay. Today we're gonna try to make it quick. How are you doing, guys? This is the first Sunday of the year, so we are going to try to have a little chat more so today than we did last. Alvaro Cesare Gomez, hola, ¿cómo está? Buenos días. Feliz Año Nuevo. I'm in Panama. Sun is shining. It was cloudy this morning. You know, the rainy season is out, but it's been raining, so I don't know what's happening. But anyway, it's lovely seeing you guys, so I'm gonna get started. So today's gonna be a surprise because I want to get rid of extra stuff I have in my fridge. Because I am mostly whole food plant-based, I usually, te deseo un feliz año, gracias, muchas gracias. I usually try to get rid of what's in my home. And most of my recipes as a whole food plant-based is just, oh, I have peas, oh, I have this, and just put it all together. But today, because of the holidays, I cook for Christmas, I cook for New Year, and then it's like, I need to get rid of a lot of stuff so I can get back to my routine of not eating all the stuff I've been eating. My face is swollen because I've been eating carbs, and I usually go low carb, so I have to get back on track. So I looked in the fridge and I had potatoes. I don't usually eat potatoes, even though I know they're kind of rich in nutrients, because again, that's carb. So I need to get rid of the potatoes. My friend, for the first of the year, I was supposed to make soup jumeau, and I was looking for green onions. So I said, okay, get some leeks. And she bought a bunch of bags. I'm like, oh my God, leeks. So I figured I had to get rid of the leeks and the potatoes. So we're making potato and leek soup today. So that's the surprise, okay? Now, I usually have a lot of things in my kitchen. I always have beans and not rice. Let's see. I think I still have a little bit of rice. Okay, so in the coming weeks, we're gonna have to cook some rice. And I still had some leftover heavy cream, which I don't usually have in my kitchen. So that was a nice pairing of doing the potato leek soup because you do need cream. All right, potato leek soup can be made different ways. Okay, you have leeks and potatoes, but you can dress it up. But it equates to a recipe, a French recipe called vichyssoise, which is a cold type of soup. So when you make potato leek soup, you can store it overnight, and then in the morning add the cream, and then you can eat it like that. Well, we're gonna make a warm one today, okay? So we're gonna have leeks, we're gonna have potatoes, but I'm going to dress it up a bit. So now here, I had some of these little small potatoes I showed you. I had a bag when I went to Merca, and I got it for $1. I gotta get rid of it. And I also had some beets, rumalaca. So I cut them up. I like the small potatoes, just like red potatoes. I like them with the skin on. So scrub them, clean them up, and cut them in half or thirds. And I also had some leftover beets, rumalaca, I think they call it in Spanish. So I cut them up also. And then I made some herb oil. Now, you know my herb oil I make with extra virgin olive oil, and then I put dry spices, oregano, thyme, cilantro, whatever. And then I always like to put fresh rosemary, romero here. So, but I also, hola, Morocco. What am I making? I'm making potato leek soup today. So I was talking about the herb oil. When you are dressing any kind of soup like that, if you see people making tomato soup, they always kind of squirt some little olive oil on top, and then you could put a dollop of sour cream. But I don't have sour cream. I didn't want to get any. So I made an herb oil. I had some leftover basil. You can make a green herb oil with basil. So my basil wasn't so green. It was getting old and it was getting a little bit brown. So I cut off the leaves, put them in here, and use my handheld mixer with some olive oil, mix it all up, strained it, right? And then cooked it in my little pan. And then I added more olive oil and then some of the herbs. So this is my herb oil. So we're gonna use that to sprinkle on top of our soup. So I wanted to get some things ahead because I have another appointment after this and we don't want to be here for 2 hours this time. And what else can we put? We don't want to put sour cream on top, so we're going to do the herb oil. And I also have some fresh Italian parsley. We can put a little bit on there, but typically what you want to put on your potato leek soup is some chopped dill. Well, I could not find any of that here in Panama City. Once in a while, I'll see a pack, but there was none. I went to 2 different stores. I couldn't find it. I'm like, So we're going to decorate with a little bit of chopped parsley. And then what I thought I would do also, I would do some toasted shallots. Couldn't find shallots either. So we're going to do toasted onion. Not onion rings. I remember at the restaurant, I used to make a blue cheeseburger, and then crispy onions. Those would be deep fried in the fryer. You put like a little flour, you kind of season a little bit and dump it in there, and oh, so good on a burger. So if you ever want to try, if you're into burger, even if you're doing bean burgers, just put some crispy onions. So I sliced some onions really thin, and I am going to cook it a little bit on top on the stove and then put it in the oven so it will crisp up, okay? So first, let's do our potatoes. This is the potatoes I have. I don't want a whole lot of it. So I cut the potatoes and dice them and then put them in water. And you know why, right? We don't want them to get brown and to get oxidized. So the oven is already on. I'm ready today. So how are you guys doing? How was your new year? You getting hungry? Oh, good question, Dennis. I tell myself I'm a French Caribbean cook, right? Because of my French influence. I'm from Haiti. I was born in Haiti. So we were very, exposed to French cuisine. And I went to Cordon Bleu, to culinary school, and it's all about French technique. So, and then I'm Caribbean, so. But when I say Caribbean, I don't do a lot of other Caribbean recipes. I know my recipes. Okay, when you are doing the leek soup, typically you don't roast the potatoes. You cut the leeks, you roast, you cook the leeks a little bit on the stove in a pan, and then you add the potatoes, and then you put stock. You let the potatoes cook, and then you mash them or you blend them in the blender. You can have the potato soup with a little bit of body, like a little bit of pieces. So you could do a masher if that's what you want. I think I want it smooth. If you want it smooth, you could use the handheld blender. This one, masher, blender, whatever you want to call it, or you could put it in the blender. I think I'm going to put mine in the blender. But because I want to make mine a little bit different, I'm going to roast my potatoes. I think if it's seasoned and it roasts, it's going to increase the flavor. You know me and flavor. I'm all about flavor. So I'm going to season my potatoes a little bit. This is Himalayan salt with pepper. Not a lot. Remember, it's always better to add later on than to over salt your food, which is not good for you anyway. Now with this soup, I have to be careful that I don't use a lot of black pepper. It's kind of a creamy, pale looking soup. You don't want big chunks of black pepper. So I gave in and bought a little thing of white pepper. Oh, where is it? You guys know I don't like to buy, oh, there it is. I don't like to buy pre-ground spices, but for this recipe, I bought a little bit of white pepper because that's what I'm gonna use. I don't want black chunks. Okay, so slap your mama, I can put a little bit. Oh my God. Because it's Cajun, it reminds me of what happened in New Orleans this week. Oh my God. Whew, Lord help us. Help us, help us. Okay, I'm gonna use some of my little herb oil. I'm gonna put on there. And that's gonna make your potatoes really tasty, right? And I watched Anna Garten, you know, this lady who's a cook. She did one and she added arugula, you know, on her potatoes. I didn't want to go that far. So what I thought I would do, I would put a little bit of celery. And again, it's all about trying to build flavor, okay? We don't want our soup to be bland. You could do bland if you want. I'm just not a bland kind of person. So we're gonna put a little bit of celery. And the potatoes here probably gonna take about 30 minutes to cook. They are not. And then I'm gonna put a little bit of the celery leaves, which we always have here. Our celeries come in bunches. And I always cook the leaves. Why would you want to throw that away? Okay. All right. So we're going to put the potatoes in, and then we're going to start working on the leeks. Now the leeks I'm not putting in the oven. We're going to cook those on the stove top. All right. So that goes in, and the rest of my potatoes go in as well, which I'm not going to use for the recipe. All right. So the other thing you do with your leeks are very good. I use them to build flavor, but they are very sandy. I'm sure you've heard that. Now, we don't use the green part of the leeks for the soup. We just use this much. So I'm gonna be left with a bunch of green. So that's gonna help me make my stock. And I made stock today. This morning I woke up. I realized I needed some more. So I made some veggie stock. I have leeks in there, carrots, bay leaves, onions, and pepper. Okay? So if you want to cook rice or anything, always have vegetable stock in your kitchen. Then you just put it in your food and you don't have to use Maggi or better than bouillon or any of those things. I know I was watching that chef make the soup yesterday and he used better than bouillon. I was like, why did you do that? I mean, people like it, but to me, again, okay, you're gonna cut this off. This is still, you know, you're trying to stay away from those kind of food, pre-packaged, pre-made. So you're gonna cut your leeks in the middle. Now the sand is gonna be in those layers. So I'm gonna cut them up and then put them in a bath, let them stay in the bath, and then just pick them up from the top. Shake it, you know, shake them in there to release any kind of sand. I remember at the restaurant when I worked at Disney, we had like big bands at the sink, and that's where you would put your lettuce and things that you wanted to. And we would let it sit in there for a few minutes just to loosen it up, because we use a lot of leeks at that restaurant. I miss that restaurant. I just wish they would have used me. You know, when you first a brand new grad, they just give you the worst job. I was a prep cook and I hated it. Especially, I love to make the salad dressings. I learned to make, what is this one that you make for the, Italian? We made vinaigrettes and Caesar. I love to make the Caesar salad with the anchovies. I love that. So now remember, I'm not making a whole lot. I'm going to have a lot of leeks left. I'm using like maybe 3 because I got to think of how much potatoes I have, which is not a whole lot, right? So let's do 3 stalks. And yeah. And then you make sure you take this little top off. We're gonna sweat it. Yeah, this is gonna take no time. Now, the other thing that I did is like, what are we gonna eat with that soup? I thought maybe I could do croutons because croutons are easy, but I had finished my Parmesan cheese, and you need some Parmesan to make nice croutons. So I said, well, let me go get some sourdough bread, and I can make like almost like a grilled cheese sandwich on the side. More bread for me. Oh my God. Let's see. Let's do one more. So, sourdough bread, not something you find easy in Panama. The major stores don't make sourdough bread. And guess what? They call it pan madre de mesa or something like that. Pan madre de mesa, which means bread of the mother's table. Some Spanish words are so long, I'm like, what do you say all that just to say one word? But I think I was watching, I'm part of different WhatsApp groups, and I think I heard somebody say that they have some bakeries in some areas that you can find pan madre de la mesa or something like that. So I had to come up with an alternative. You know me, I have to come up with an alternative. All right, let me put some water in this and let it soak before we start using it. What type of cuisine are you from? I don't know. Okay. All right, so we are soaking our leeks, shaking them, making sure we get rid of any of the sand. You do not want to be eating sand, right? Okay. So what I did as an alternative to my no sourdough, I went to a place I was at the mall. I was at Multi Plaza, and I said, oh, let me go to this. It's like a restaurant called Paul, which means it's a French-based restaurant. And you go in there, they have dessert galore, creme brulee and all kind of tarts and coffee, and I'm sure they have other things. I've never been there, but I knew if I went there, I would get either some French bread or something. I was looking for like a loaf that you make in a Dutch oven, which I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna bring my Dutch oven back, but they didn't have any round loaves. And I said, okay. I kept looking, and then I saw this, and I'm like, okay, ¿qué tipo de pan? What kind of bread is this? They say integral, which means whole wheat or whole something. That's what integral means. They have not gotten rid of the outer layer. And I said, okay, let me have one of those. That's the closest to a round loaf that I could find. So this one has, it feels really dense. So we're gonna slice a couple of slices. And then because I didn't want to go buy a big thing of cheese, this one is queso fresco, which is something we use a lot here. So I'm just gonna put a couple of slices. I'm going to brush the slices with my herb oil and then just toast these loaves in a pan here on the stove, you know, to make some kind of a grilled cheese. I do have my presser somewhere. I don't remember where it is, but all right, so that's what we're going to put on the side to have our soup with. So if you're somewhere where it's really cold, this is a nice soup to have. So because I don't want to use a lot of that cream, heavy cream, fat, so I did get some coconut milk. So I'm going to put a little bit of coconut milk. That's my alternative to anything creamy. I don't like creamy anything. Like I don't like Alfredo or anything like that because to me they're like heavy. And I'm not a milk person. So I use coconut milk a lot with my chickpeas. So with my potatoes, I think a nice pot of chickpeas with curry, ooh, would be good. I use my last carrots, potatoes, and I use all my squash. Anyway, I'm trying to get rid of, and then so I can clean my refrigerator and start from scratch in 2025. Alrighty, so let's get going. Oh, I wanted to show you too. I'm making some tea, some soursop leaf tea. Now, there has been a lot of things that I've read about soursop tea. Now, I'm not somebody who believes a lot of miraculous things, you know. And I believe in herb because I grew up where we went outside and just pulled twigs and put it in water and drink it, and if you had fever, cold, or whatever, you got rid of it because you know all your medications come from plants. You know that, right? So I've been reading about this soursop leaves. I did have the soursop. Ooh, yummy. I said I would use them in my smoothies, but I've been snacking on it instead. So that's still good, right? So I made some soursop tea. I just boiled some tea leaves. Now, if you have a steeper, you know, one of those things that are really cute, and you can just throw a couple of leaves, let it steep, and then you can drink it. Just like, ooh. Just like I still have some hibiscus tea. Hibiscus tea, you probably have heard also that it is good for blood pressure and other things. So I'm gonna have my soursop tea and maybe I'll live longer. It's pretty mild. Okay. All right, vámonos. We're going to start with the leeks. Now, I always like to, you know how I do. I start with garlic and onions, whatever I am cooking, okay? So you don't want to use red onion. Again, you're trying to stay with the color scheme here. Now with the leeks, we don't use a lot of the green, so the soup is going to be pretty pale, right? Like, you know, pretty pale. So how are you guys doing today? Do you do New Year's resolutions? I don't. I know resolutions are getting a bad rap these days because people keep saying that people don't follow. You know, you fall off. So it's better not to make the resolution if it's hard for you to keep it up, so you don't feel bad, right? All right, we got to make sure when we sweat these veggies, we do not let them brown because that might mess up our color scheme again. So now everything's going to be blended, okay? So we don't have to be perfect in our cuts or anything because we're going to blend everything. If you recall, I think 1/4 of an onion is enough. We don't need a whole lot. So if I were to say resolution, I'm more about setting goals, right? If I say I'd like to accomplish this in 2025, and frankly, from a personal standpoint, I'd like to remain healthy, you know, taking care of this aging body. And I have some goals I'd like to accomplish for SWAP, single women retiring abroad. We had our admin first rendezvous yesterday, and the ladies call themselves the divas. So that's what we're going to be calling ourselves. And we are trying to set some goals for the year for the group, tightening up some stuff, set up some guidelines, because we really want to be a resource for women, you know, single women retiring abroad. So wherever you are, you can apply the principles to, oh, I need some garlic. Now, I love garlic a lot, but I don't think this soup is one of those where I'm going to overwhelm the soup with garlic, right? No, because you want the leek and the potatoes to be the star. So only a little bit of garlic. And we call this process of just, we say we sweat the onions. You just want them to be translucent and not burn. So that's why I have to watch my heat. So yeah, we met, had a nice time, and then we're going to clarify the goals, the vision, the mission of SWAT, single women retiring abroad. And we want to be intentional and serious about making sure that we have systems in place for us as we age here, as we age in place. And of course, there are a lot of uncertainties. You guys have heard the news and the threats about the canal. We don't know what's going to happen. So we're going to stay prayed up. I did my last video was about the fact that I don't attend church regularly anymore. And boy, oh boy, did I get some response. Some people call me almost Jezebel. Like, oh, This guy said some feminist something. He said it's not gonna threaten the church. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And that's what I said. I said, you making those kind of comments and then you wonder why people are staying away. All right. So, oh, that looks so pretty and translucent, right? Not burnt. Very important. I know when I was in school, I ended up having to start over several times. The chef would say, you burned it, start over. Okay. All right. So now we're gonna put our leeks in. Then probably gonna increase the heat a little bit. And you could use a coriander also to wash your leeks, so you can get rid of the sand. I remember when I was at the commercial kitchen, when you look at the water at the bottom, you would see the sand sitting down. So it's true. Don't knock it. So we will increase the heat here because we want the leeks to cook. And they're a little bit hardy, right? So it's gonna take a little bit. And then we can chat. Oh, before we do that, let me take care of the onions. We gotta make our crispy onions, right? Okay. So we're not gonna season anything. We're just gonna cover it and let the leeks sweat and cook. All right. Now, let's take care of the onion. Crispy onions. So I have the onions that I sliced. See, I'm not making a lot because I'm just doing like one little dish. Because you know, I don't want all that potatoes. Oh my gosh. All right. A little bit of flour. And I'm going to put a little bit of cornstarch. You know, I love cornstarch. That bowl and basket, my lifesaver. Just a tad. Not a lot. Hey friend, Mishi in the middle. What type of cuisine? You're getting hungry? Well, this is not a lot of food today. This is, all right, a little bit of salt, Himalayan, and just gonna put like slap your mama. All right, so we're going to just do this to the onions. And let's see, I had a little bit of oil from, where did I get this oil from? I did something over the holidays. So this is not gonna be deep fried, but ideally the way I used to do it was in the fryer. So we're not doing that. We're gonna let it get really hot. We're gonna cook it a little bit, and then I have a little pan. I'm gonna put it in there and put it in the oven and let it crisp up, okay? So, let's chat. What's happening with everybody? Do you have any questions about Panama? The tea tastes good. I have a hard time. You know, I can have unsweetened tea, but I've been using this Splenda Fruta de Monje. It's like monk fruit. And so I know my friend who's diabetic uses it. Really good tea. So if you can get some soursop tea leaves, go ahead and get some. Okay. I don't have a thermometer to check this out, but I'm just gonna. Oh, it's not hot enough. All right, so we're gonna cook these onions, kind of fry them. But you don't have to do that. This is me trying to find something to decorate my soup with. All right, this is your time to ask questions if you have them. I love watching your channel. Oh, thank you. Happy New Year. Oh, Mauritius. Nice. Heading back to Cape Town on Tuesday. That is wonderful. You know, I've wanted to go to that part of the continent, but haven't made it yet. How'd you like Mauritius? I don't think I've been there. Maybe I was doing some research. I felt like I was there. But I know Hindu, there's a heavy Indian influence there. Cape Town. You know, I was in South Africa. I never made it to the Cape. I was so sad because the Peace Corps wouldn't let us. Wonderful. But I think this year I want to go back to Africa. Yep. I think I want to do Kenya, Uganda, and you like Mauritius? Really enjoy the cruise. Seychelles. So how about that? How was Seychelles? I know they get a bad rap about how they treat certain people, but I don't know. I haven't been there, so I can't speak to that. But you are visiting from a cruise, so it's kind of hard to get a sense of, oh, I watched this guy. He visited Seychelles, and his, response was mixed about his experience. Are you seeing demonstrations against the proposed taking back? Apparently there were some around Christmas. It didn't make a lot of noise, but yes, there were some. And most people say that everybody's waiting until after the holidays, maybe after the carnival, because that's big here. And then who knows? Yep, we're not in the know as to what's happening in terms of any kinds of negotiations that are going on. I don't know. But it's certainly concerning, especially for people like us who are just here as visitors, right? But I know Panama likes having visitors here. So, and a lot of us have retired here. So, but because there is so much uncertainty with, who, so we don't know. We don't know. We're just living our lives. Alrighty. Ooh, actually, our leeks are looking good. Yeah. Oh, another thing I want to put in my leeks, just to add the taste up a little bit, is a little bit of white wine. I love to cook with white wine. I'm not a meat person, so I don't use a lot of red wine. And I don't like to drink with red wine, except maybe, um, what's the one that I would drink a little bit? Merlot, I don't like. It's too bitter for me. But Cabernet, I can tolerate Cabernet, but I'm a white person. Well, I mean white wine. White wine. Okay? I feel this one is a Pinot Grigio. So I'm gonna add a little bit, that's it, and let it evaporate, and then you get the taste. You know, try that when you're cooking like meat and poultry. Add a little wine and a little bit of ginger. Ooh, elevate the taste, okay? So, but when you cook with wine, what you want to be sure is that it evaporates. You want it to cook off. Beautiful beaches, yeah. Yes. In fact, I don't know if I told you guys, when I was kind of searching for what I wanted to do, I thought of maybe going to Seychelles and teach nursing, because you know they speak a type of Creole and they have a strong French influence. So I thought my French would come out a little bit, and sent my resume. I'll tell you, it was the craziest thing with Seychelles. I met this guy online, he's from the Seychelles. I asked him a question about work opportunities. He's like, sure. And then he gave me a contact. So I sent my resume to this contact, and that was it. Nothing, no response, nothing. All right, guys, so this, I'm gonna put the, come on, my onions, okay? So as you see, it's not a lot. So I'm gonna put them in the oven so they can crisp up all the way. Because I am not going to deep fry. I don't have a fryer, but this is just for decoration. And I think it's gonna work out perfect. Okay, in the oven it goes. Woo. I got my steam for my face. When you travel to East Africa, don't overlook Tanzania, Zanzibar. Oh, I heard. But you know, when I flew from Ghana to Rwanda, it was like a 5-hour flight. And I'm thinking, did I make a stop somewhere? Because I'm going back home, I had to fly from Rwanda to Uganda to Ethiopia, and then from Ethiopia to somewhere in Pennsylvania, and then another flight to Florida. Whew. I was like drunk. Too many flights. Oh, no. We stopped in Doha also. That was another one. So that was 5 flights. But Zanzibar, I know from South Africa you can go to Tanzania easy. But if I land in Kenya, Uganda is close. How far is Tanzania from any of those 3? Yeah, I could, if my money's right. Right? I've heard of Zanzibar, but I definitely want to experience Kenya and the animals. And Zambia is not too far, and it, you know, the falls, Victoria Falls. I also wanted to, at one point, I looked at Botswana and what's the other one where they have a lot of gold? And the German influence, I forgot. But anyway, they have these sand dunes. I wanted to go see those. There's so much to see on the continent, right? And I don't want to my visa to expire without me going back to Ghana, because I think the first experience I had in Ghana, I went with a purpose. I didn't go there to explore, and I feel like I've missed out. Quick flight between Nairobi and Dar es Salaam. Okay, good. Kenya is next to Tanzania. Okay, good. 2 hours. Okay, okay. But you know, initially with the Peace Corps, I was going to be based in Madagascar, and I had all my ideas. You know, when we had like short little time off, that I would be going to all these little spots, but it didn't work out. All right. Let me check on the potatoes. Okay. Potatoes are done. Oh my God, they're good. Yum, yum. Okay. Oh my God, I'm sorry for the moving. Oh, there it is. All right. Someone, one of my subscribers, her husband sent me an email. He's like, my wife watches your videos. You can get a camera that moves with you. Somebody else had mentioned that, and I've never, I don't know about those videos. And then yesterday I was watching this chef cook. He must have had his camera in the ceiling because, you know, it was looking down. And, okay, here are potatoes with our greens. Remember, we had celery in there, and it had a little bit of herb oil, so perfecto. So we're gonna put all that in here. Yum. So wouldn't that be boring if you just boil the potatoes? You know this is gonna be good. So this, you could just use this as a side to your meat or whatever, right? Maybe throw some peppers in here and to add some color, because you want color in your food. So it can tell your brain that it tastes good and you eat it. So you could actually have those as a side, okay? So keep that in mind next time you're trying to come up with a potato dish. Oh my God, so good. It's good because you spend time working on flavor. All right, so now we're going to put the stock in. And again, flavor again. But if you just want to buy the box stuff, you can. I haven't used that in a while. Okay. Now, what they tell you though with this is that you don't want to put too much liquid. You want to make enough liquid to see that the potatoes are moving easily, because otherwise you're not going to have the right consistency. You don't want the soup to be too thin. And especially for people who want to pour a bunch of cream in it. I'm not going to put a lot, so I don't want my potatoes to be too, I don't want my soup to be too thin, okay? So we're going to stop here, but I still have that. If it's too thick, I can always add to it. All right. Yeah. Namibia, that's it, that's it. This lady just did a video about Namibia. She looks Ethiopian. She says she lived in Germany, and then she was returning home with her kids, and she went to visit there. She was astounded at how much of the country was owned by the Germans. And that's what I had heard when I was doing research. All the diamond, what do they call those? The mines? Who owns those? And I remember doing some research, and they were showing how kind of segregated, you know, the rich people on that side, and kind of like Cape Town. Anyway, there's a lot of that stuff that bothers some people about the continent, but it's the reality that even though those countries are free, but the resources, who owns them? All right. We can get depressed talking about some of that stuff. It's, yeah. It's sad. I mean, I was only in South Africa for 3 months, but I can tell you, I felt it. That I better shut up and get myself in trouble. Okay, but it's always fun to visit the continent. I hope I like the food in Kenya better. I did not like the food so much in Ghana and Rwanda, definitely not. And because I'm into food, they did tell you in Rwanda to bring your spices because they don't spice food. But everybody had the pepper sauce, the hot pepper sauce that they put on their food. The jollof is good. I had jollof a couple of times. The first time was great. The second time, but then it depends on who cooks it, right? I didn't eat it in somebody's home. Let's just say that. And like I said, I didn't like the fufu or banku. The fish was okay. I didn't have anything else, so that's why I need to go back and do a redo. But I'm not eating street food. That's dangerous. Okay. What's beeping? Nice. Okie dokie. So we are ready for the. First, I'm going to use my little thing here, my my mixer, and see if I get the consistency I want. I'm going to have to season that because, yeah. Okay. Let's see how we do. We definitely need more liquid. Woo. And then we're going to put it in the blender, okay? yes, we need more liquid. But it's better to add the liquid than it to be too thin. So if you're living in somewhere east in the US where it's cold, it's a good soup to have. It's like cream of potatoes or cream of mushroom, potato leeks, yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead and add some of that stock in there. All right. All right. Okay. Yes. Alrighty. This is our soup. This is the color I was aiming for. I didn't want it to be too white. So you could see it's still got a little bit of the leek in there, right? That's what I wanted. And the consistency is exactly what I wanted. Okay. So we're gonna turn the heat back up. Oh, it's gonna be splashing too. I gotta be careful. Let's put the spices in there. Oh, and I also have some crushed red pepper I'm gonna use as a garnish. White pepper. I'm gonna do it before it starts splashing me. Okay. And need some salt. Oh, this salt has the pepper in it, so nope, no bueno. It's gonna be dark. And nope, this is not the one I'm gonna put paprika in. Nope. We're gonna preserve the pretty color. It's getting there. Where is slap your mama? Go slap your mama. Not a lot. Oh, it tastes good. Right. There is. Got my onions. I forgot them, almost forgot them. So I'm gonna flip them and then put it back in there for a little bit, see? Perfect. Okay, so now we're gonna add a little bit of that cream. Remember, if you're doing the classic vichyssoise, you're gonna add your cream the next day. We're not doing that. I don't want a whole lot of that fatty stuff in there. Oh, it came out so good. Just a little bit more of this. You know what? I'm going to pass on the coconut milk just because it's a French recipe and they don't typically use coconut milk in their recipes. So we're going to stick to the cream, okay? Just a tad. So that would equate about half a cup, which the recipe calls for a lot more. I'm just not comfortable putting all that cream since I'll be the one to eat that soup. I didn't have anybody volunteer to come take it. Look at that. It's beautiful. Good. All right, we'll let it cook for a little bit and then we're ready to serve. So what I want to do now is get the toast ready. Soursop leaves for tea. So if you know anyone who can get that to you, ask for it. Okay. So now, I'll move the soup to the back. And we can use this pan that we use for the onions. But I'm gonna get rid of some of that oil. And then we're ready to serve. Today's gonna be a short day. Any other questions? Let's see. Happy New Year. Oh, Manchester, England. Oh yes. Ooh. I was there. No, it wasn't in the winter. Thank God. Yes, it gets cold there. I like Manchester. I keep talking about that restaurant this guy took me to. The Indian restaurant. I don't know if it's still there, but oh my God, I hurt myself. That was before I was watching what I eat. I tried everything. Everything. And of course no, I could not try everything. There's no way. There was too much food. Okay. All right. So, this is our bread that I bought at, what do they call that place again? Paul. Chez Paul. Okay. Well, this is going to be good with coffee. Oh, this is my problem with bread. Look at that. Integral, meaning whole wheat or whole grains, okay? Beautiful. Yeah, I'm a bread person. It's too bad bread doesn't like me. You know, I had pictures when I was in my 30s, early 40s, where my face was just swollen. And then now I'm looking back and I'm like, yeah, you were eating all that carbs. You didn't know. Oh my gosh. I did not know. All right. So I'm going to put a little bit of my New Zealand butter in here. Not a lot. Now I found New Zealand butter here and I'm very, very happy. I don't use it a lot, but, and we have our herb oil that we're gonna brush our bread with. Ooh, that looks so pretty. I think 2 of them is enough. I will find these things. All right, we're gonna use our herb oil and brush our bread. Oh, oh yes. Food is an art. Seriously, cooking is an art. All right, I'm gonna put those down. Yeah, we got that one. Let's do it too. Okay, let's see. This is the time for you to talk to me. Good morning. Wow, it's cooking day. Yes, Claude, come on. Yeah, we made potato leek soup. A soup recipe is needed. Good. Well, you know, I've made I don't know. I think I made chili. I made split pea. Did I make split pea soup? And I have some lentils. So somebody gifted me some red lentil. We can make lentil soup. And I have black beans. We can make soup. Actually, you could make some type of like a minestrone soup with beans and pasta, you know, and it's all meatless. Good. But I think I'm gonna go back to my my chickpeas. All right. Oops. My onions are good. So they're out. And ooh, my other potatoes with my remoulacha, with my beets. So I needed to get rid of the potatoes, so I roasted, look how good they look, with beets. Like I said, you can have this as a side of, you know, if you're into chicken or any kind of beef. For me, I'm gonna cook a pot of chickpeas to eat with those. Yeah. Alrighty. So, this oven is really good. I like this oven. I don't like the top. It doesn't work as well, but. Alright, we're gonna turn the heat up while these two are cooking. And okay, no more bread. I told you the history of my bread, how I found this bread. And not that I need to eat any bread, but so I decided against the coconut milk in my soup, okay? But I did have the cheese, the queso, what do I call it? Queso fresco. So we're going to put a slice of that on the bread. But you don't have to if you're not into cheese. You don't have to do that, okay? I was gonna get Gouda, but after all the expenses of the holidays, I'm like, I need to spend any more money buying special cheeses that are super pricey here in Panama. So let me put a little bit. Now I like queso blanco here, which is a type of cheese that they put in their food. Um, it's more affordable and it's not bad. But I don't usually eat cheese either, so I'm telling you, you guys are making me eat things that I don't usually eat. When I finish here, I have to go to, I volunteer at a children's after-school program that is sponsored by the local police department. We couldn't do anything for them around the holidays because everything shuts down in Panama when it's Navideña, Navidad. Everybody's busy. So today we're gonna go give them their gifts. I think they said the Tres Reyes, they celebrate that. So they feel like it's probably more appropriate. Alright. Ooh, nice. Oh, look how pretty this bread looks. Okay, all right. Get our soup back up, and then we plate. Okay, so we have our crispy onions. Perfect. We have our toast, and we can plate. So I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of the red pepper flakes, but you don't have to if you're not into anything hot. And then I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of the parsley. Okay. Ready? Now, when you're serving that kind of soup, you don't want to use something this deep, okay? And because I don't have a lot of fancy plates here in Panama, we're going to use what I have, which is so good. I'm tempted to put a squeeze of lemon juice, but I won't. I am tempted though. All right. That's the color I was looking for. I didn't want it to be too white. Remember, I didn't put a lot of cream in it. Okay. Oh, remember, I have my herb oil. Now, if you have one of those little, oh, yeah, let me use this. I forgot I had this. It makes it easier for you to dispense it. Now, this herb oil is made with basil and other dry herbs, okay? But if you have the little plastic thing that you see where you squeeze ketchup and stuff out of it, that makes it easier too. Okay? But I'm gonna do this. Okay? Ooh, looks good. All right. Just for me, the little red pepper flakes, because I'm a hot mama, but you don't need to do that. Okay? And spring onion. And this is my addition. This is not, you're not gonna find that anywhere in any recipe. Remember, this is a French recipe, vichyssoise. This is the kind of soup, but we just call it potato and leek soup. All right? I'm gonna put mine right in the middle. Ooh, that looks pretty. Aww. Remember, it's important to make your food look good. All right. You know, I think if I put yeah, I was supposed to have dill, but I couldn't find dill. But if you can find dill, you could do that. But yeah, just a little bit. Un poquitito. But if you have the dill, you just put it, sprinkle it around. But we're just gonna do a little bit so I can have my picture. All right. Isn't that pretty? I'm gonna put it over there while I bring the bread on, the toast. This is our toast. And voila. But I can't taste it yet because I gotta take a picture. Mm. Now, guys, if you're in Manchester or anywhere and you're trying to find a easy, yummy soup, this is it. Okay? This is it. Good morning. Wow, it's cooking. Oh, that's Claude. Um, yep. Potato leek soup. I roasted my potatoes, but you don't need to if you don't want to. But I think it adds a certain je ne sais quoi to the recipe. And when you're roasting your potatoes, use herb oil. Or if you just sprinkle some olive oil and then some dry herbs, a little salt and pepper, that's it. Mix it, flip, roast them, flavor. But in addition, I added a little bit of celery and the leaves. Again, you're just building flavor. And then you sweat the leeks, with onions and garlic. Season lightly. Then add your potatoes. Then add your stock. Go with vegetable stock, but if you have chicken stock, that's good. And then mix, cook, blend, and then season to taste. So let's see. It's a pot of goodness and comfort. Wow. Well, Claude, there's a lot more here if you want to. I know you're not that far. Curry mild. Maybe. Good morning. Yeah. So this is yummy. Now it's got a little heat because I added the pepper flakes because I like that, but you don't need to. This is my addition. The onion, but some people would put like sour cream. You can do that too, and any kind of toast that you want. I'm in trouble. Bread is my weakness. All right, guys. I told you today was gonna be quick, hour and 24 minutes. If you have any questions, this is the time to ask. Carnival, I looked the dates up here. It's gonna be March 3rd and 4th, which is kind of late, I thought, but those are the dates for Carnival here in Panama. And Carnival is a good time. We have a good time. We always have a good time in Panama. What can I tell you? This is the problem. When you like your food, you're in trouble. And I do. And I'm not just saying it, you guys. You saw me make it. It is amazing. You spend time building flavor. That is the base of a good cook. That is what makes you a good cook, is understanding the importance of flavor. But if salt and pepper is all you want, that's cool too. I'm not here to judge you. But I need flavor. Okay? So I'm gonna need to leave here in about an hour to go to my event with my little kids. So if there are no questions, I'm gonna sign off. Potato leek soup today, and it is yummy. But you can eat it cold. I don't like cold soup, but you can. Wow. So good. All right, guys. No other questions? None? Going once, going twice. So good. Mm. I need some coffee now. All right, guys. I am going to sign off. I hope you have a good day, a good year. If you set some goals, it's fine. Just make sure you write them somewhere. You can refer to them to keep you on track. Give yourself grace. If you don't achieve a goal by the time that you set, you can extend it. You can change with the circumstances. But I can tell you from experience, having goals keeps you motivated, keeps you engaged, keeps you excited. So don't just live one day to day to day to day. Set some goal for yourself, whether it's educational, whether it's getting a new skills, whether it's travel, whatever it is, set some goals, okay? And above all, set a goal for yourself, for your health. Keep yourself healthy. Engage in regular exercise, hydration, drink water, eliminate sodas and other soft drinks. Sleep, make sure you get enough sleep. Alcohol, limit that. You don't need a whole lot of that, okay? And most of all, too, friendship, socialization, staying connected. So important for your mental health. All right, guys? So I will see you next week. I don't know yet what we're going to do, but it's going to be something good. Oh, look at that. You could dip it. I'm a happy girl. Bye, guys.